Welcome to Take a Timeout with Dustin Sullivan, a production of the Can Do Group. Can Do Group is a 501c3 nonprofit provider of services for adults with developmental disabilities and is pleased to bring you this podcast. Today, Dustin's guest is Adam Craig. Adam is a 2008 graduate of the University of Findlay. He was a member of the Oiler golf team, a 4-year varsity letter winner, and earned all GLIAC, what is that?
GLIAC. That was our conference back then.
GLIAC honors as a sophomore. Coach Craig is entering his 7th season as the head coach of the men's and women's golf teams at Bluffton University. Prior to being hired at Bluffton, he served as the assistant director of golf at the University of Findlay. Coach Craig has helped coach multiple all-conference and all-region players, 1 All-American, and even 1 U.S. Open qualifier. Before turning the mic over to our host, the trivia question of the week is, who was the first non-American player to win the Masters golf tournament? What year did he win, and what country is he from? The first non-American player to win the Masters. What year did he win, and what country is he from? Do you have any guess?
I was going to say either Greg Norman or VJ Singh.
I'll give you a hint. What country he's from? South Africa. Do you know a South African golf player? Because I didn't even realize this.
Ernie Els.
I was going to say VJ Singh.
No.
Retief Goosen.
In 1961, his name was Gary Player.
Oh.
Gary Player. Okay.
Yeah.
I forgot about him.
Okay.
Now I know who that is.
So let's move this.
So, are you from the Northwest Ohio area?
I am not from Northwest Ohio, and I understand you're a Steelers fan,
Yeah.
so we have a little bit of beef there. I grew up in Cleveland area, about 20 minutes west of Cleveland in Lorain.
A lot of people say Steelers, that Browns are a big rival, but it seems like the Bengals and the Browns are like...
Yeah, there's that Ohio connection, but I know if you're from Cleveland, it's always going to be the Steelers.
Yep, the Browns have actually owned the Bengals.
Yes, that win this year was probably their best win of the year so far.
Where did you go to high school at?
I went to Lorain Southview High School. When I was in high school, Lorain was split in between 2 high schools. There was Lorain Admiral King and Lorain Southview. Now my high school does not exist anymore. Yeah. It's all Lorain High.
How old were you when you picked up your first golf ball?
I picked up my
Golf
first golf club at the age of 14. So I was kind of late.
I'm sure a golf ball was earlier than 14.
Probably, I did not know what golf was until
Really?
I was 14, really.
Okay.
I mean, I grew up playing baseball, and that was, I did travel ball, I did all that stuff. So golf was, I literally picked up a club up the street in the park at age 14.
I'm sure your kids are starting at an earlier age than you did.
They are getting. I put a net up between a couple trees this year for my son to throw baseballs into, but I think he ended up hitting more golf balls into it.
Yeah.
Who inspired you personally to play golf?
I would have to say that was my dad. When I was in high school, he saw the interest, and I grew up playing baseball, and I got into golf at the age of 14, and I played my freshman year of high school, qualified for varsity team, and then I really didn't get serious about it until I was a sophomore. And, he got a second job at a driving range to get me involved, and this driving range was open till 10 o'clock at night. So I never went to a single homecoming in high school. I was at Golf Nut. That I spent every homecoming in high school at a golf range. And it just kind of, I wouldn't be where I was at today without that, I don't think.
Right. You we didn't mention this in the questions, but we usually ask this question. Yeah. What other sports did you play growing up?
I played baseball. That was it.
That was your
pretty much
sport was baseball.
I tried football, didn't like it.
And then high school, It changed to golf.
High school changed, and I think what changed it, honestly, was I grew up a third baseman.
Okay.
And when I got to high school, there was somebody better than me at third base, so they tried switching me to first base, and just did not like that side of the field.
Yeah, yeah, that happens in high school sports.
Since you're from Cleveland, you probably have to like the Cleveland Guardians.
I do like the Guardians, yes. They had a fantastic year this year, and the best young team in baseball.
Yep, that's a big rival for the Reds.
Mm-hmm.
That's his team.
Yeah.
we only see each other a few times a year, but it's always a big rivalry. I think you guys have had our number the last couple of years.
But we still haven't won the Ohio Cup. You guys own that. Who is your all-time favorite PGA golfer?
Tiger Woods, hands down. When I got into golf in 1999, it was when Tiger started peaking, and he changed the sport.
He did.
I think a lot of the kids I recruit these days and don't know what golf wouldn't be today without Tiger Woods.
He might be 46 now, but golf still needs Tiger Woods.
It does. I mean, what he's doing with this primetime thing with Rory McIlroy, and they're going to have the indoor league and all that stuff, it's going to keep golf going in the winter.
And all that stuff he's got to do against Liv.
Yeah.
Tiger Woods, hopefully one day he keeps going so he can have the all-time most major titles.
He's got a long ways to go to get that, but if anybody has the determination to do it, it's Tiger Woods.
Yep, I've always had respect for Jack Nicklaus.
Mm-hmm. That's my kind of quote. Jack's obviously from Columbus, and him and he didn't start playing golf till he was 14.
Oh.
So that's kind
Kinda
of
cool.
Like
We got a connection.
We got a connection there.
Yeah.
We're from Ohio, didn't start till 14, so there we go.
If there's any golf course in the world you would play at, where would it be?
I think number one on every golf fan's list is Augusta National.
That was probably one. I've always wanted to go there.
Either there or Pebble Beach.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to go to
I've
Whistling Straits.
So we actually vacationed in Wisconsin this summer, and we did not play there, but we went to the golf course, and it is a course that's straight out of Scotland in the United States. It is pretty cool.
It's kind of cool to see all these different golf courses. They're beautiful. Even the one in Columbus, in Dublin, Ohio, that's a beautiful golf course.
Yes.
I was going to say, my niece and my sister live in Augusta, and I've seen the Masters course, but through the fence. You can see the long road going down into it, but I've never been on it, so.
What is the most challenging golf course in Northwest Ohio?
Most challenging? That's a good question. I would probably have to say Inverness. Just its length and what they can do to that course with growing the rough up and making it difficult. I mean, and then, honestly, that's probably why it's hosted the most major tournaments in the area.
So where's this golf course at, actually?
It's in Toledo. Actually, I think the address might be Sylvania area.
Yeah.
But up off Central Avenue.
What was your major while attending University of Findlay and playing for the golf team?
So I was a graphic communication major. So I designed stuff on computers, and I ended up minoring in business management and marketing when it was all said and done.
So making stuff, did you do stuff like with engraving machines and stuff?
Not necessarily
Graphic
engraving
design.
machines,
Graphic
more
designs.
of computer art and things like that, designing flyers, logos.
That's my type of thing.
Yeah? You
I
like
do
that?
that. I
Good.
design shirts for Can Do.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Did you start working at the Findlay Country Club immediately after college?
Yes, I did. So I graduated in 2008, and then I was lucky enough that there was a little change in the professional scene at Findlay Country Club, so I was able to, I think I spent my first summer working in the bag room cleaning clubs, and then I was able to jump right into the golf business, and a great professional staff there that was able to help me get through the PGA and cover a lot of the costs for that, and thankful for that opportunity that I was there.
That's kind of cool. What does an assistant professional do?
Which was what your title was that we saw for
Correct.
the country club.
Yes. So the assistant professional runs member events, runs outside golf outings. Towards the end, I started out as second assistant and then eventually worked my way to first assistant when my coworker left. But as first assistant, I kind of ran the pro shop a little more, the merchandising aspect, the financial portions of it, and things like that. So there's a lot in the golf business. We actually won Private Club Merchandiser of the Year while I was there.
Cool.
And I designed a lot of the graphics for that and flyers that went into our presentation. So my degree actually came into handy in the golf business.
It always helps when there's like graphic design people behind the scenes, I think. Don't you think, Jody?
Well, thank you.
The country club's a great place. It's beautiful.
Yes, I'm maybe a little biased, but I think it is the best course in Northwest Ohio.
I think it is.
Even though you live on another golf course.
Yes.
We'll talk about that later.
Why did you leave the University of Findlay for Bluffton College?
The opportunity to move up to a head coach and not move out of your house. That does not happen a ton in the collegiate world. So I was kind of blessed in having that opportunity.
I don't blame you. Do you recruit players for golf teams? And does anyone receive scholarships?
So Division III, we cannot offer athletic scholarships. I recruit both men and women. I'm head coach of both men and women's teams. So we do have some local people on the team, Elida, Hopewell Loudon, Columbus Grove, and then we've got kids from Columbus, Indianapolis, Cleveland area. So we've got a pretty wide recruitment range.
So why can't Division III recruit for
Or
scholarships? Is it because they're too small?
I wouldn't say too small. It's what the NCAA allows us. I would say it's, our mission is academic driven.
Yeah.
So we're not essentially paying you to do athletics.
Oh.
You're there for your education, and we have a little more strict rules on what we can require and practice time, all that sort of stuff, than they do here at Findlay.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting to see, like, each division, like 1, 2, and 3, how everything's ran differently. And a lot of people don't realize that.
Correct, yes.
Is there any differences in coaching the men's and women's golf team?
Yes. I will say the men are a little, especially when we travel, they're a little bit more results driven. They're a little more upset if they play bad.
Yeah.
Both programs have equally amount of fun. My men played the game sevens and cards in a hot tub with waterproof cards. So that was something fun on a trip. But the women, when they go, it's more laugh and giggle. And if I were to compare the two, the women have a little bit more fun when we travel than the men do. But both are equally as fun to be around.
That's awesome. Has any of your top 25 finishes in Northwest Ohio PGA events been at the Jamie Farr Classic?
Ooh, you're turning back the clock on me here. It's been a while since I played in a Northern Ohio event. It is not. Jamie Farr is actually a women's event.
Oh,
That's right.
So what we have, where those finishes came, like we have the Toledo Chapter PGA, which they put on smaller events for club professionals at kind of the club. So I played in those quite a bit before family got in the way of playing golf. So we, kids, and now I'm teaching golf instead of playing myself.
Because I think people that used to go to Jamie Farr, like, men got to golf with the women because they used to make teams.
Yes, so they do have the Pro-Am. Like, before the
Pro-Am.
tournament starts on Thursday, they have the Pro-Am where they'll invite corporations and things like that.
Now it's called the Marathon Classic.
It is, yes.
You were in the top 10 at the Assistants 2012 Assistant. I'll do it again. You were in the top 10 at the 2012 Assistants Championship. Where is this played at, and what was your score?
That is a fantastic question. It was played at Fairlawn Country Club, I believe, which is in the Akron area. Score? That is a good question. That's a long time ago to remember. I played a lot of rounds of golf between there
on your memory there.
and there. I can remember.
But you were in the top 10.
The thing I remember about that tournament was we had a rain delay, and I had like 3 holes left. And there were 2 groups in front of me, and there was a par 3. And there was one person in the group, 2 groups in front of me, got a hole in one right before the rain delay.
My goodness.
We come back out after the rain delay. There was a person in the second group in front of me that got a hole in one. So back-to-back groups had a hole in one on that par 3, and I was the first to tee off in our group, so the pressure was on.
I was gonna guess you shot I was gonna say like a 68 or 70.
No, if I were to guess, it was probably like 73 and 75 or something.
That's still not horrible.
Yeah.
What has been your best golf score ever?
66. It was at trying to think of the name of the course. It's in Orville, where they make Smucker's jelly. I can't remember the name of the course.
Speaking of golf, what is the lowest score ever recorded by a golfer?
I believe on tour it's like 58.
That's crazy. You gotta be like getting birdies or eagles all the time.
Birdies and eagles, yes, lots of them. Way more than I've ever made in a round.
Have you ever gotten a hole in one?
I have 2 actually. My first one actually came when my dad was caddying for me in a tournament at Notre Dame's home course.
That's sweet.
And it was a situation where the pin was tucked in the back left of the green and we could not see it go in.
That's crazy.
So we knew by the reaction of the people on the green that it had happened. And the second one was at Old Red Hawk Run here, number 14.
That's a tough course to play at.
Yes, it was back in its day. It was probably my favorite course in Findlay. I liked it.
That Oak Mallet's pretty tough too. And so is the one in Tiffin. There's one.
Mohawk Country Club or Seneca Hills?
Seneca Hills.
Seneca Hills, yep. I've only played 9 holes there.
Would you quit coaching if you could go pro?
Probably, yes. Don't tell my boss, but if I had the opportunity to go on a PGA Tour, it's a dream that I would definitely pursue.
I don't blame you.
Okay, I wrote this question for myself. You have the best kept yard in the neighborhood. Did you learn your groundskeeping skills from being on the golf course so much?
I did not.
This man is power washing his grass, and we're like, what is going on over there?
That is the best way to get the acorns in a pile. No, I think it was passed down probably from my grandparents. I can remember going to my grandpa's house with his garden. I'm sure, I don't know if you've gone any walks down to the golf course, but you see the greenhouse in the back. You know, I bought that during COVID. I've been one who's always started seeds for the garden in my basement, and now the greenhouse, and I don't know, I guess I have that green thumb.
Well, we have another question about that backyard.
Elaine tells me you have chickens. Did you name your chickens? Do you sell the eggs? Your neighbor wants to know.
We do. We don't sell. We give them to neighbors. When we have, in the summertime, we do have quite a bit. But their names, Tiki.
We saw 2 black and a white, I think.
Tiki is the white one. The black one with the crooked toe is Penny. And the black one with the regular toes is Seedy.
Okay.
When I hear Penny, I think of Pennywise.
Pennywise? I think of Penny Hardaway.
Yeah.
Going down the sports.
And Tiki makes me think of Tiki Barber.
Yep. Tiki Barber running back for the Giants. And they are currently not laying eggs. I host our staff Christmas party at Bluffton, and I advertise my eggnog all the time.
Oh, no. And no eggs.
No eggs for eggnog. They need to start laying. We left them outside too long, and they need to get adjusted. I put lights on them in the garage, and that's how they lay the eggs, is the daylight and all that. So they need to get adjusted. I think we're getting close.
Okay, well, someday you can come knocking on my door with some eggs.
Do you have a favorite all-time golf movie?
You know, Happy Gilmore is on everybody's
That's
there.
right.
I mean, it's comedy, it's golf, it's, you know, what every average golfer goes to the driving range and does the Happy Gilmore swing.
You know what my favorite part of that Happy Gilmore is when he plays in that putt-putt course? He's like, "You're gonna die, clown."
There's some great one-liners in that movie in the golf world.
What is your favorite golf brand of golf clubs and balls?
Titleist all the way.
Titleists are good.
I was on staff with Titleist when I was at Findlay Country Club, and honestly, my clubs are not broke, so I don't fix them. My clubs are actually 13 years old. I haven't bought a club since I left Findlay Country Club.
Wow.
My dad has always been a fan of Titleist and Cobras.
There you go. Yep.
What is the best country club food? Do you have to be a member to go have lunch at the country clubs? We might want to add this to our calendar for something to do.
Yeah, we create a calendar for outings, and we're like, are we able to just go over to the country club and have lunch? Or do you have to know somebody?
You probably have to be hosted by a member.
Okay.
But I know lots of members.
Okay. You have connections, is what you're saying.
Yes.
If I want to get Can-Do group in sometime for lunch.
Yeah, they probably definitely.
Yeah, I usually have about 4 or 5. I don't have like a huge group.
Yeah. Best food there. So when I worked there, I've eaten in the restaurant itself a number of times, but so when we worked there, they did a fantastic job of using like if they had taco bar the night before,
Yeah.
we would get that for lunch the next day as a staff. So my favorite food is Mexican, so Wednesday lunches were the best for me because they always had Tacos Tuesdays in the nights. Tuesday nights. So and it was actually Taco Tuesday 10 years ago before Taco Tuesday became a
Really?
thing.
I think LeBron does a Taco Tuesday.
He made that famous for sure.
Speaking of Mexican food, what's your favorite Mexican restaurant in Findlay?
Because there's
Ohio?
so many of them.
Favorite? I mean, Cancun.
I know.
I think is the
Cancun's
best.
right
They got the best salsa and chips.
I would agree. That was a good addition to Findlay a couple years ago.
You can't beat Ohlers either.
I'm still going to send people outside of Findlay to Ottawa has Lucero's.
Lucero's.
Yes, oh my goodness.
My
That's some
favorite-
very authentic Mexican food.
My favorite one outside of Findlay is Los Arcos in Upper Sandusky.
Los Arcos.
Okay.
I think they just opened a new Mexican restaurant in
Really?
in Nevada called La Fargua.
Okay.
They have good food too.
Nice.
Los Arcos has just always been delicious. If you won the lottery, what would you do with the money?
What would I do with the money?
Mm-hmm.
I would build a golf facility on campus. And kind of like Paige said, make sure the family is set, invest it. I would probably build a house somewhere else, but not necessarily move out. We love our location of our house. It's on a golf course.
And your house is huge. Kylie was like, "Is that one house over there?"
It is actually two, like it would be 2 addresses. We actually have like 800 amps of power going into it because
Oh
there's
my
2
gosh.
connections. So that's why I never blow fuses when I have all those Christmas lights outside.
But yeah, it is so long. It's such a long house.
I know if I won the lottery and built a house, I'd move somewhere warm because I don't like cold weather.
Yes, I don't know. I love North Carolina.
Oh.
I would probably build a house in the Pinehurst area.
I probably would move to like Augusta just so I could be close to the golf course.
And you want it to be warmer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you collect anything?
Collect anything? I wouldn't say collect. Maybe it's collection.
Yeah.
So one of my unique collections are socks. I love different socks. I don't know if you've ever heard of Foot Cardigan. I don't know if I can
I'm
say
gonna
that.
have to look them up. I'm sure.
It's a sock of the month club. So we get a little. My wife and I get socks every month in the club. I have a drawer. I'm going to need a bigger drawer for socks. I think Paige can attest. I have a different pair of socks on every single day.
It reminds me of the Pixar director. He has I think now it's probably over thousands. It's thousands of shirts. But you'll always hear the Pixar director with a Hawaiian shirt on, and he has so many Hawaiian shirts. So
I collect a lot of sports shirts and sports memorabilia.
yeah.
So do you support any charities?
Not really.
We threw that question in there only because we know a lot of golf events do you support charities of certain things, and so we thought we wondered if there was anything.
Yeah.
I mean, being a member of the PGA, we have birdies for charities and things like that. So I mean, I guess you could say I'm associated with that stuff. Birdies for charities is actually something that they started within the Toledo chapter PGA, and it went over into our whole northern.
What exactly is that?
So it's a day where golf pros get together, and unfortunately they do it during my golf season, so I can't play in it. But they get together and they play as they round up donations, and you get pledges. And for every birdie you make that day, and they'd start at dusk, and they try and get as many holes in as possible and make as many birdies as possible.
And where's the money go towards?
Different charities throughout northern Ohio, kind of wherever the PGA
wants to donate that
does
year.
that stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Your Bluffton pullover's pretty sweet looking.
You like purple?
It's just cool looking.
Thanks.
Now for the famous final question. Do you consider a hot dog a sandwich?
It is not a sandwich. Now, here's how I would
now
consider.
you cheated. You got to listen to Paige's interview.
So my wife is from Bucyrus, the brat capital of the world. And I think, hot dog and a brat may be kind of the same form.
Yeah.
A brat, the way you properly eat a brat is you cut it in half and you split it. And you make it a sandwich.
Oh.
A hot dog is still round. It's on a hot dog bun.
Yeah.
Bucyrus is a nice place. They have a good pizza place, Baker's, and they have a good market called Carly's.
Carly's, yep. Carly's is the brat place. Baker's is actually my all-time favorite pizza.
They have good food.
Now, you talking about cutting up the brat, we've actually had somebody say that. They said if you cut the hot dog and split it and cook it like that, then it would be a sandwich.
Yep.
So, yeah, I do agree. It depends if the hot dog is in its hot dog form or if it's sliced up to fit into a sandwich. There we go. I think we're getting it.
Because when you
We're
slice,
getting the answer to this.
so when you slice it up, that's like the version of spam.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Yep.
kind of. Well, thank you for taking a time out with Dustin Sullivan today. It was nice getting to know you, Adam, and we hope everyone else enjoyed getting to know a little bit about you, too.
That's all, folks. Be-doo-doo-doo.
Thanks, Dustin.
Bye.
Thank you for joining today's podcast of Take a Timeout with Dustin Sullivan, a production of Can-Do Group. This podcast is made possible by the support of local businesses and community members like you. Thank you. Want to be part of the action? You can help Can-Do Group continue supporting adults with developmental disabilities by donating at www.candogroup.org.